Hello, I'm Bob Schieffer, and welcome to the CBS Evening News Online edition. Just ahead, the Harriet Miers Supreme Court nomination has come unstuck. John Roberts has details and analysis from the White House. Also, we'll have the inside story on oil company profits and why they've reached record highs. And we'll look at why an official of Mexican descent wants illegal Hispanic farm workers out of his state. Our Eye on America series continues. It's all starting now on the CBS Evening News Online edition. The Republicans on Capitol Hill have been telling President Bush it was going to be difficult, if not impossible, to get Harriet Miers confirmed to sit on the Supreme Court, and today he drew down her nomination. The president said it was because senators wanted to examine confidential documents that Miers had written as White House counsel, something he said he could not let them do. Others say there is a lot more to it than that. We're going to start tonight with John Roberts at the White House.
The White House today said it was heading for an unresolvable impasse over the Miers nomination. In truth, it would have been more like a train wreck, one everyone wanted to avoid.
It became apparent to Harriet that her role as nominee was fast coming into conflict with her role as White House counsel, and she rightly put the interest of the president and the presidency ahead of her own self-interest.
The official reason given for her withdrawal, the White House refusal to turn over papers dealing with her time as counsel to the president, claiming they were covered by executive privilege, and questions she couldn't answer in her confirmation hearing that senators insisted she'd have to. But that appears to have been a convenient out. The Miers nomination had split a party already in a world of hurt over a tough war, scandals, and falling poll numbers. Bruising confirmation hearings could have inflicted broad political damage. In fact, it was after Senate leader Bill Frist gave White House Chief of Staff Andy Card a realistic assessment of where they were yesterday that Miers pulled her name.
Now we'll begin the opening statements.
The Republican head of the Senate Judiciary Committee, who'd said it would be a sign of incredible weakness if the president withdrew Miers, had harsh words for the beating she took on Capitol Hill.
This is a sad episode in the history of Washington, D.C., which has a lot of sad episodes, but the way Harriet Miers has been treated is really disgraceful.
White House officials today said they didn't see it coming before Miers was nominated, then reluctantly admitted they probably should have.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Conservative groups who were brutal on the nomination made no apologies for bashing her. Wrong from the start, they said.
What conservatives are expecting, what conservatives are hoping for, is a nominee with a clear and consistent record, but also excellence. It's not just ideology. It's not just closeness to the president. It also has to be a first-rate nomination.
President Bush has pledged to move ahead quickly on a new nominee, and the White House has not ruled out again going outside the list of usual suspects.
There are a number of qualified people out there. I don't know that it necessarily has to be a judge. I don't think we should abandon the principle that you could put somebody on the bench from off of a lower court.
In accepting the nomination, Harriet Miers said her time at the White House had given her a greater appreciation for the role of the legislative branch in our constitutional system. No telling how she feels about that tonight, but she will help lead the search for her replacement. Bob?
Now, wait a minute. Did you just say, John, that she's now going to be part of the search team to find a replacement?
She's got her old job back. She's White House counsel, and she is going to be helping to lead the team that is going to search for the replacement. They're back to the short list, and they could have an announcement as early as next Wednesday.
That almost sounds like cruel and unusual punishment, doesn't it? Well, let's bring in our political correspondent, Gloria Borgia, into this. Gloria, what do you think is going to be the immediate fallout from this?
Well, I think immediately conservatives are cheering because they think that the president will not be able to nominate another good friend. That's the Attorney General Alberto Gonzales. If they were ready to make the fight over those documents with Harriet Miers, they would have to do the same for Gonzales, who also served as White House counsel. Still, Bob, a lot of pressure to appoint a woman. Justice Sandra Day O'Connor came out and said today that she sure would hate it if the number of women on the Supreme Court dropped by 50%.
Well, let's talk a little bit about the backdrop to all of this. And, John, this all comes as everybody at the White House is waiting to see if there's going to be an indictment in that who blew the cover of the CIA agent investigation. Is there anything new on that, John? And a lot of people thought it would come today.
There's nothing new beyond speculation, Bob, and the speculation is pointing to tomorrow as the possible day that indictments, if they are to come, will be handed up by the grand jury. But that's not even sure, because Patrick Fitzgerald could always ask for an extension of this investigation, impanel a new grand jury, and keep going with it. But most people think grand jury's over tomorrow, the case will be over tomorrow.
Gloria, where is the speculation? It seems to be centering now on Louis Libby, the president, the vice president's top aide. What about Karl Rove? What are they saying over there today about that?
Well, tonight, Bob, the fate of Karl Rove remains very, very much up in the air. People I spoke with at the White House today say he was at a senior staff meeting talking about the budget, asking tough budget questions, remaining very much engaged. But they're ready for bad news tomorrow.
Okay, thanks to both of you. The Interior Department said today it could take up to a year to get oil production in the Gulf of Mexico back to normal. So you'd think that must be eating into oil company profits, but it turns out profits have never been better. Here's Anthony Mason with the inside story.
When Hurricanes Katrina and Rita pummeled the oil platforms in the Gulf, it looked like the oil industry was suffering.
But suffering is not what they're doing right now.
ExxonMobil's sales hit more than $100 billion between July and September. Soaring prices lifted the oil giant's profits by 75% to nearly $10 billion.
This is a record for the oil industry. It's a record, I think, for any publicly traded company in one quarter to make this much money.
Suddenly, big oil is feeling a backlash in Washington. Democrats have called for a tax on oil profits to develop alternative fuels. Even Republican House Speaker Dennis Hastert says the industry has some explaining to do.
Our oil companies need to do more to inform the American people about what they're doing to bring down the cost of oil and natural gas.
ExxonMobil defended itself in ads placed in major newspapers today. Oil industry earnings are not out of step with other major industries, the company said. Over the years, Exxon executives have been touchy when asked about their good fortune.
Back when crude oil was $10, gasoline was less than $1 a gallon, and our earnings were less than $2 billion a quarter. I don't recall seeing CBS in the room.
But those rising prices at the pump are taking fuel out of the economy by taking spending money out of our pockets and making the country poorer.
And in this particular situation, with the price going up a lot, we're going to be quite a lot poorer.
So how big is ExxonMobil's $10 billion profit? It's 10 times the size of the GDP of Liechtenstein, and more money than the entire movie industry took in at the box office last year. Bob?
Thank you very much. In the health news tonight, there's a new reason for women to get regular mammograms. New research shows those who do have a lower risk of dying from breast cancer. Breast cancer deaths have been going down in the last decade, and today's New England Journal of Medicine reports this is because a combination of early detection with mammograms works and is more effective. All this week, we've been reporting on security, or the lack of it, on America's borders. Hundreds of thousands of illegal immigrants cross into this country from Mexico every year, and that can be a big issue, even far from our southern border, in a place like Idaho. Thalia Shuras tonight with our Eye on America.
They are up before dawn in the choking dust of the potato harvest in the vast farm fields and on construction sites. They are Idaho's laborers, but listen closely. They're mostly Hispanic, mainly from Mexico. And despite their back-breaking work, they're not entirely welcome.
Jim, you're on 670 KBOI. Good morning.
The illegal immigration is a weapon of mass destruction.
Leading the charge against the illegal influx is Canyon County Commissioner Robert Vasquez.
And it is an economic attack on the United States.
That from a man whose own grandfather came from Mexico, legally, Vasquez points out. It's the illegals who cost the county millions, so Vasquez is turning to the courts to get the money back.
You think your taxpayers are being ripped off?
Well, of course.
Canyon County is suing agricultural companies under federal racketeering statutes, normally associated with bringing down the mob, not migrants.
I am angry. My country's being invaded, and my government is not taking any action.
The claim, the companies have conspired to hire illegal workers who drive up the county's medical and law enforcement costs.
Absolutely, they're bringing in crime, and they're also bringing in the gang culture.
The local jail, with a large number of immigration cases, is overcrowded.
It's people sleeping on the floor.
Right.
If you didn't have the illegal immigration problem, would you have that problem?
Not as many. There might be a few, but not as many.
So it's a problem.
It's a problem.
There are up to 35,000 illegal immigrants here in Idaho, providing cheap labor. They make up a critical portion of the agricultural workforce, and without them, some say the industry could collapse.
The people that I hire in the agriculture industry are not taking jobs away from other people.
Sid Freeman's family has farmed here for decades. If the lawsuit succeeds, he's worried the big companies won't buy his crops.
So you can't keep your farm going if these companies pull out because of this?
That's right. I may be the last farmer in 9 generations in America.
Vasquez hopes to take his crusade to the national stage by running for Congress. That has a lot of people around here worried.
He's kind of the engine for driving divisiveness in our community and hate.
But Vasquez says he's a patriot.
I'm not opposed to immigration. I'm opposed to the invasion of illegal aliens.
Who's trying to protect his country. In Canyon County, Idaho, I'm Thalia Ashuris for Eye on America.
More stories are just a click away, but don't forget to join me on television for the on-air edition of the CBS Evening News. On Friday's broadcast, the trouble with sinkholes. Millions of homes are at risk. We'll show you why in a consumer alert every homeowner should see. For CBSNews.com, I'm Bob Schieffer.